Hello, and welcome to our VirdisGroup Leadership Series, Opinions, where we have subject matter experts join us to speak about very up-to-date industry topics that I'm sure will interest you. I am pleased to have here with me today, Mrs. Heidi Hunter.
Hi, my name is Heidi Hunter, and I am a global pharmaceutical executive. I would say that my gift and the value that I bring is that I understand the entire pharmaceutical value chain, from production all the way to access and out to patient need, which drives everything that I do. And I also understand the way to access value for the patient and for companies in a number of different markets. You know, as you heard, I've been in the pharmaceutical industry quite a while, and I began to see that what I can support companies with, not only operationally, but also strategically, was really needed as the complexity of the biotech and pharmaceutical world increased. It all relates to how you connect the dots and also how you connect the thinking of the different disciplines, the technological, the scientific, the patient care areas. And through that, I think is what really got me thinking, how can I help companies not make mistakes, but connect those dots more quickly? And that motivated me to get on boards. It's not that easy to get on boards, especially your first one. And what really then, as I started thinking about it, got me to really be convinced was looking at the missions of the different companies and how I could support the missions of those companies. So I think it's really important that when you choose to go on a board, that your values, your expertise, your learning aligns with the mission of that company. That's what motivated me. So strategy drives everything, right? So you really need the strategy to understand the outlook of the company and how you're contributing to that outlook. So as a board, you really should be able to look out a minimum of 10 years and very confidently 5. And that's where the strategy comes in. So the chair, the board, and the executive team really align on the frame for that strategy. But the board does not write the strategy. That is really written by, or developed, I should say, by the executive team and owned by the executive team and the CEO. The board is accountable for that strategy. And so that's where the interplay comes in and the discussion comes in. The board has to really put their muscle behind that strategy. But the actual implementation and the execution is really the CEO and the executive team. A really good relationship between the board and the executive team is when the board is used by the executive team for their knowledge network, their expertise, their challenge, to really hone that strategy and make it something that's unique and that really will contribute to the future value development of that company. Great. So that keeps you out of operations, but it doesn't mean that you're sitting there and just being, judgmental. You're really thinking all the time to support that executive team, all the time. Diversity and inclusion has followed me my whole career, obviously. And, I'm used to being in rooms where I'm the only woman or maybe one of two. That has not, unfortunately, has not changed very much over the years. And, but the women that are coming forward now are louder, more skilled. They're definitely people that you want to be not aligned with, but close to because of their energy and what they bring. But it's not just about women. It's really any group that has been marginalized in business has a special role to not only lead, but demonstrate and bring value. And so, when I look at a board that I'm considering, I look at the dynamics of that board, how the voices are listened to, and how they're acknowledged. I think it's very important for any marginalized group to feel that they're going to be heard, that their perspective will be considered. And that's all you can ask for. What I have seen and what really makes me smile actually is when I am on a board and there are other minorities represented there, that we often have an aligned different perspective. And that's when I know we're really adding to the diversity of thought on that board, not just from our expertise, but also from our experiences that we've had over the years that are really valuable. For women, it's unique. Women right now are a big topic on boards, and many countries have passed laws where they're requiring a certain number of women to be on the board. I would look at your board in terms of, or your board opportunities in terms of whether or not they've had women on the board before, who they are, what's happened to them, what kind of roles did they have on the board, were they chairs of committees, all those kinds of things. But I would say general advice for women is also the advice I would give anyone who's looking to be on a board. As I mentioned earlier, I think it's really important that the board not only aligns with your values, your personal values, but also that you see how you can bring unique expertise, and never to think that because you've attained a certain level in your career that you now deserve to be on a board. I think being on one board is being on one board. They are all unique. They require different skill sets, different ways of listening and processing. So I would really constantly develop yourself. I still do this. I look for challenge externally. I put myself out there. I go to meetings. I meet new people. I network all the time. I cannot stress enough the network. I've been surprised again and again by not only what I've learned from my network, but the challenge that I've received from the network that has made me just a better board member. So network, learn, and don't think you deserve anything. You really got to contribute.
Great.
One last thing, if I can, I think it's really important to remember that, even though you go on a board because you have expertise and you have a broader perspective that can add value, it's not what you know. It's really how you ask the question. And I think this is the biggest difference about being operationally or being on a board. Operationally, you're supposed to have the answers. You're supposed to bring the result. Here, you're supposed to support those who bring the result. And how you best do that is to really understand how to ask the questions to stimulate and motivate to get people on the right track.